You'll do things in the marriage that could be considered deal breakers, and then you'll look at each other and I'm sorry and I love you, and you'll make.
The last shattering, Robyn begs. Meri explodes. And Janelle rises. The end of the Brown legacy, once hailed as a daring experiment in love, faith, and family. The Brown family has now reached a breaking point. No one, perhaps not even the Browns themselves, ever truly expected. The facade has finally crumbled. And the truth. It's more devastating than anyone imagined. A stunning collapse in real time. It began with whispers. Then silence. Then came the thunder. In a scene that has stunned fans, Kody Brown personally handed Robyn divorce papers face to face. No cameras, no ceremony, just raw finality. And Robyn, she never saw it coming. The woman he once called his soulmate, the wife he stood by as the others fell away, was now left sobbing at a family gathering gone horribly wrong. Sources say her hands trembled, her voice cracked. "Why are you doing this?" she asked through tears. But Kody offered no comfort. Not this time. Not anymore. The man who once defended Robyn at every turn now stood as the architect of her ruin. But the shock didn't stop there. From the background, from years of silence and patience and pain, Meri Brown stepped forward and, with words so fierce they shook the air, "The devil is better than Robyn." And with that sentence, Meri, once the silenced, ignored first wife, set fire to everything. Years of pain find their voice. Meri has always been the quiet one, the steady one, the one who held the line, even when it broke her spirit. She stood by Kody for decades, even after he withdrew every drop of affection. She accepted his distance. She mourned the loss of intimacy. She watched as her marriage became a footnote while Robyn's rose to center stage. But now she was done being silent. Meri's fury wasn't just about betrayal, it was about erasure. It was about realizing she had given everything only to be tossed aside like a spare part. And finally she spoke with the raw force of every tear she's ever cried. Fans who once pitied Meri now stood up and cheered. Because in that moment she wasn't broken, she was blazing. Janelle joins the fire. If Meri was the unexpected explosion, Janelle was the slow-burning revolution. Known for her cool pragmatism, Janelle rarely raised her voice. She preferred her independence, her solitude. But this time, she couldn't stay quiet. When Robyn collapsed under the weight of her own undoing, Janelle stepped forward not with comfort, but with truth. "You've manipulated him from the beginning," Janelle said. "Eyes sharp. You played us all, and I let you." It was a moment that left even Kody speechless. Years of buried resentment now stood fully exposed. Social media erupted. Fans? POSTED reaction videos, crying, clapping, shaking, after years of being painted as the passive ones. Meri and Janelle were finally owning their power, and fans couldn't get enough. Kody's disillusionment, a man alone as for Kody Brown. The man who once led a family of 4 wives and 18 children now finds himself alone in the ruins of the world he built. It didn't happen overnight. The downfall was gradual, one heartbreak, one insult, one neglected child at a time. Christine was the first to leave, breaking free in 2021 after years of emotional starvation. Her declaration was heard around the world. "I deserve to be loved." Then came Janelle. She tried to make it work. She endured his absence, his favoritism, his shifting loyalties. But in the end, when their sons began to feel the sting of abandonment, she couldn't forgive him. She packed her bags, she moved on. And finally, Meri, the woman who once brought Robyn into the fold, the wife who had the most to lose, yet the least to gain. Her goodbye was quiet, but her awakening was thunderous. Now Kody stands beside Robyn in silence, a monogamous man in a house built for many. It's a once proud defender of plural marriage. Now openly confesses, "I don't want it anymore." Christine's victory, a life reclaimed, but not everyone ended in despair. Christine Brown's story didn't conclude with heartbreak, it evolved into triumph. She waited, she prayed, she cried. For years, she longed for more than what Kody could offer. But when it became clear that Robyn would always come first, she chose herself. In 2021, she left Kody and never looked back. Fans were stunned when, just 2 years later, Christine found love again. Real love. With David Woolley, a man who loved her out loud, who tattooed her name, biked with her through the mountains, and helped her rebuild not just a home, but a life. Their 2023 wedding was a celebration of hope. Christine's glow said it all. She didn't just survive, she won. And that victory echoed through every fan who had watched her be ignored, dismissed, and sidelined. Now, she was front and center in her own story. The tragedy that shook everything, but amid the wreckage and renewal came a tragedy no one was prepared for. In March 2024, Robert Garrison Brown, beloved son of Janelle and Kody, died by suicide at age 25. The grief was indescribable. The air in the sister wives world went still. Garrison was known for his wit, his loyalty, his strength. He was a protective brother, a devoted son, a young man with dreams and a soul weighed down by invisible battles. His passing shattered the entire family. Janelle and Kody, estranged and divided, came together briefly in shared grief. They released a joint statement. He was a bright spot in the lives of all who knew him. Our loss is going to create such a large void that it takes our breath away. For a brief moment, pain forged a fragile truce. But the damage was already too deep. The loss of Garrison became not just a family tragedy, but the spiritual end of the Brown legacy. A franchise fading season 19 of Sister Wives brought more than just drama. It brought reckoning. The storyline no longer revolved around polygamy, centered around collapse, loss, and the individual paths of healing. Christine is remarried. Meri is rebuilding herself. Janelle is pursuing a quiet life, opening a flower farm in North Carolina near her daughter Maddie. She plants things now. She nurtures life after so much death and loss. Robyn, once so secure in her role, now looks around at a house with no laughter, no sisterhood, no collective future. She recently confessed, "I feel like we failed." And she's right. No child in the Brown family has chosen polygamy. The next generation is choosing peace, not patriarchy. Love, not hierarchy. Every single daughter and son has forged their own path. None have returned to the life their parents built. The end of an era, it's a strange thing to witness. The death of a dream. Sister Wives began in 2010 with hope, courage, and a desire to shatter stereotypes. It promised a deeper understanding of faith, family, and love in all its forms. But in the end, it wasn't about religion. It wasn't about plural marriage. It was about people, flawed, searching, yearning to be seen. Now, the final threads have unraveled. There are no more sister wives, only stories, only lessons. Only the ashes of a family that tried to make the impossible work and paid the price for trying too long. And yet, there is light. Meri walks forward with her head high, finally choosing herself. Janelle cultivates joy in soil and sun far. From drama, Christine dances with love again, radiant in a new marriage. Even Robyn, broken though she is, may one day find healing. And Kody, he stands alone, surrounded by the ghosts of decisions he can't undo. But perhaps, just maybe, in the silence that follows collapse, even he can begin again.
She's joined Christine in sort of this exposure. They're just as guilty. I mean, it goes both ways here.
But you're saying the role that she...
The Brown family has known heartache, but nothing could have prepared them more, the world, for the devastating loss of Robert Garrison Brown. His passing in March 2024 shattered not only his loved ones, but the foundation of a family already straining under years of emotional fractures. Janelle Brown, his mother, stepped into unimaginable grief with the grace of a woman who had no choice but to carry on. Her pain was raw, visible, and courageously honest. In the weeks following Garrison's death, She took to social media not as a celebrity, but as a grieving mother, letting the world glimpse the weight she now bore. Coming out of the fog, she wrote, "It's been hard to get my brain to work properly again. I am so grateful for the outpouring of love and support I've received these last 3 weeks. The support has been overwhelming. I am honored. That grief didn't fade." On what would have been Garrison's 26th birthday in April 2024, Janelle posted a tribute that brought fans and strangers alike to tears. "Happy heavenly birthday. Happy birthday, sweetheart. We miss you so much today. It's impossible to believe you are not here anymore. Spoke about you a lot today and even went for dinner to Texas Roadhouse. I still feel you around sometimes, and I am thankful that we will reunite with one another when my time is done." Mother's Day in May 2024 brought another wave of sorrow. She shared how baking Garrison's favorite dessert, a strawberry rhubarb, pie gourd memories too powerful to hold back. "Perhaps no one cherished it more than Garrison," she reflected. "That made this pie bittersweet. I love you, honey, and miss you every day." Her heartbreak didn't stay confined to quiet posts. At the U.S. Weekly Plus Pluto TV Reality Stars of the Year event in October 2024, Janelle spoke with trembling vulnerability. "Making it through every day is a day. You simply take it day by day, moment by moment. You just do what you can to facilitate mental health, particularly men's mental health. We just keep trying to honor and remember him." By March 2025, the anniversary of Garrison's death, Janelle marked the painful milestone with a post that said everything. "I stay busy, but in every quiet moment, you are first and foremost in my thoughts. It's been a year, baby. We miss you so much. I miss you so much. Gone too soon." In an episode of Sister Wives aired in May 2025, the world saw the unfiltered agony of this family. Kody Brown, known for his bravado and stoicism, broke down on screen. Through tears, he admitted, "Grief comes in waves. It just wasn't supposed to be this way." Kody's sorrow was compounded by guilt. He spoke about how the pandemic strained their relationship. Garrison had challenged his father's COVID protocols, and their fights drove a wedge neither would repair. "I didn't get a chance to really just make things right. Just not being able to say goodbye. I thought there would be more time." In a heart-wrenching scene, Kody turned to Robyn, voice cracking. "It's like, I've got to do something different because I could have had more time with him. How am I going to do this? How do I do the rest of my life with every holiday, every birthday without him?" Janelle's recollection of Garrison's final hours was equally haunting. She had texted him, called him. Everything felt normal. But by 8 p.m., he went silent. Concerned, she asked her sons to check on him. Then she went to bed, unaware that her world was already shattered. It was Gabriel who called her the next morning. "Garrison is dead." With tear-filled eyes, Janelle shared the disbelief that followed. "I don't know what occurred that night. He's had other nights like this, where he'd drink, pass out, and go sort of radio silent. But he'd always be back in the morning. I don't know what happened this time." Later, she revealed to her sister Carrie that Garrison had long struggled silently with depression and anxiety. During the pandemic, alcohol became his coping mechanism, slow descent that no one could truly see until it was too late. But Garrison was more than his suffering, she said. He was a profoundly loving brother. He always checked on Truly. He used to visit Solomon and Ariella nearly every day. He loved them so much. Kody, too, found himself haunted by memories. He spoke of how grief overcame him without warning, like a wave crashing from nowhere. "Sometimes, out of the blue, it just overpowers me. Almost like an anxiety attack, a profound, suffocating sense that I'll never lay eyes on him again." He made a decision that startled many to bury Garrison himself. In a weathered cemetery in Wyoming near his grandparents, Kody dug the grave. With blistered hands and tears streaming down his face, he said, "This is my duty, my job. The last ode to my boy." During the Sister Wives May 4th, 2025 episode, Kody finally confronted what fans had long speculated, that his relationship with his children had deteriorated due to favoritism and poor decisions. He admitted the fights with Garrison during the pandemic consumed him. That now, looking back, they seemed pointless. He shared so many people told me not to get caught in the what-if train, but I'm going to, because that's how I do the process. What if I had called him? What if I'd kept in touch? What if I hadn't been so concerned about the wrong things? It wasn't self-pity, okay? It was the desperate clinging of a father trying to hold on to anything of his lost son. In a heated moment during the season's one-on-one interview, Kody was asked about his favoritism. He didn't deny it. He defended it. Try that, he snapped. Your bond with each child is unique. Each friend is unique. There are varied connections, varied fulfillments. And then, in a moment that split the fandom, he said what many had long suspected. I love this woman, he said of Robyn. I'm so sick and tired of being guilted for it. I'm walking around flipping two birds. The camera lingered. The silence was deafening. Kody Brown, once the poster father of plural marriage, had lost nearly everything. Christine, gone. Janelle, gone. Meri, gone. And now, Garrison gone forever. What remained was a broken man, a grieving father, and a family trying to piece together meaning from a story that had unraveled too fast, too brutally. The grief, the anger, the blame, and the sorrow, it's all there. But so is the love, the legacy, the memory of a son who mattered, who was deeply loved. Garrison's death marked a turning point not just for the Brown family, but for all of us watching. Because this was never just a reality show. It was real life. It's real loss, and now, real healing, even if that healing takes a lifetime. It started with a feeling, not a fight, not a confession, just a shift. In the early years of their plural marriage, the Browns seemed unshakable. A united front of shared beliefs, spiritual conviction, and, above all, family. At least, that's what the cameras showed us. But what viewers witnessed across nearly 2 decades of Sister Wives was not always what was felt behind the scenes. In the quiet corners of their Flagstaff home, emotional tremors were becoming harder and harder to ignore. The tension was subtle. At first, long glances, missed dinners, excuses that didn't quite add up. And at the center of it all was Robyn Brown, the youngest wife. The so-called favorite, though Kody would fiercely deny it. But denial doesn't erase reality. As the seasons unfolded, fans noticed what the family had long tried to hide. Kody's emotional investment in Robyn was different, deeper, more exclusive. And that imbalance didn't just stir resentment, it uprooted the entire foundation of their plural home. In a rare interview with People magazine, Meri Brown, Kody's first wife, spoke with a clarity that had long eluded her. I didn't have the tools to deal with my feelings, she confessed. I felt like I was a bad person even to feel jealous. As a girl growing up in the fundamentalist Mormon tradition, emotions like envy and grief were never welcomed. She was taught to smile, to serve, to be still. So, when her heart cracked quietly under the weight of plural marriage, she blamed herself. She recalled how Kody would question her jealousy. If you're fine with other wives coming into the family, he'd say, why do you feel jealous? Meri's voice, decades later, broke on the simplest truth. Because I'm human. And she wasn't alone in that heartbreak. Christine had felt it. Janelle, too. And eventually, even Robyn, though shielded, would not escape the ripple effects of Kody's deepening emotional isolation. But in March of 2024, none of that seemed to matter. Because in March 2024, something happened that no one could have prepared for. Something that would reset the Brown family forever. Part 2. The loss that changed everything. It was a cold morning when the news broke. Statement posted quietly on Instagram by both Janelle and Kody. Our beloved son, Robert Garrison Brown, has passed. The world stopped. Robert Garrison Brown, known lovingly to fans simply as Garrison, was gone. At just 25 years old, his life had come to an end by suicide. The words didn't make sense at first. Fans scrolled back, reread, checked other sources. But the reality didn't change. Gone Garrison, who had once joked on camera, who had defended. His siblings, who had stepped up during the pandemic with honor and grace, was now a memory. Janelle and Kody's joint statement was raw and trembling. It was a shining light in the lives of everyone who knew him. They wrote, "Our loss will be so huge in our lives that it takes our breath away." And just like that, bitterness was silenced. Blame was dissolved. The chaos that had ripped through this family for years was suddenly replaced by something even stronger. Grief. A grief so powerful, so universal, that even a fractured family had to pause and remember the one thing they all still had in common: love for their children. Part 3. Janelle's grief in the days following Garrison's death. Janelle withdrew from the spotlight. Social media turned into a digital diary of mourning. She baked his favorite pie. It's the same one he always asked for. On his birthday, she went to his favorite restaurant, sat in his favorite booth, ordered what he used to love, and when Mother's Day arrived, it was like a gut punch. Her first Mother's Day without Garrison. There were no cards, no laughter, no half-burnt toast in bed, just silence. "I keep thinking he's going to walk in," she said in a private interview, tears swelling in her eyes. "I keep expecting the door to open." That laugh said, "Hey, Mom, what's for dinner?" I would give anything to hear that again. Fans saw glimpses of her heart break through carefully written posts. But it was the things she didn't say, the photos, the looks, the pauses that spoke the loudest. She wasn't just mourning a son. She was mourning a lifetime that would never happen. Milestones that would never arrive. A wedding she would never attend. Grandchildren she would never hold. Part 4. Kody's regret. Kody Brown, often a lightning rod for fan criticism, was not spared by this tragedy. In fact, it cracked him open. On this show, in private interviews, and on social media. Kody expressed what many had long suspected he felt, but never fully admitted. Regret. "I thought we had time," he said. "I thought there would be more holidays, more dinners, more texts. I thought I could fix it, but time ran out." Garrison had been vocal about his strained relationship with Kody. The pandemic only widened that distance. Disagreements over safety protocols turned into full-on arguments. And eventually, silence. "I wish I'd reached out," Kody whispered in one clip, his eyes glassy. "I wish I'd listened more." He wasn't performing anymore. The cameras were still rolling, but the mask was gone. What remained was a grieving father, tormented by what-ifs. At the burial, Kody did something deeply symbolic. He dug the grave himself, shovel in hand, dirt on his knees, tears streaming. It wasn't for show. It wasn't for forgiveness. It was simply what a father does when he cannot do anything else. He said goodbye, the only way he knew how, with his hands, with his pain, with his broken heart. Part 5. The burial. The Brown family traveled to Wyoming, Garrison's favorite place, the land he loved. It's the land that raised him. There, amidst the quiet hills and windswept grass, they held the burial. His ashes were placed beneath a simple, unmarked stone for privacy, surrounded by the laughter of old memories and the sobs of new grief. Even Christine, long divorced from Kody, came. Kody stood at a distance, hand clenched in grief. Kody was there too, silent and solemn, finally quiet in a way fans had long begged for. No labels, no wives or exes, no alliances. Just parents, just siblings, just a family. It's together and torn. Part 6. The history that led to this. The tragedy shook them into unity. But it didn't erase the history that brought them here, because Garrison's passing didn't occur in a vacuum. Janelle and Kody's divorce was years in the making. The cracks began with something subtle: disconnection. Janelle saw it in how Kody withdrew from their older sons. Oh, how his tone changed. How his focus narrowed, fixating more and more on control and less on connection. Their discussions became arguments. Arguments became silences. Silences became distance. Financial tensions also played a major role. Janelle believed she had sacrificed for the Brown family, worked, saved, built. But when the time came to divide assets, she felt overlooked. Kody insisted the money belonged to the family unit shared equally. But in practice, Janelle saw favoritism. Robyn's home was fully furnished, her needs met, her debts forgiven. And meanwhile, Janelle was living in an RV. She felt abandoned, so she left not just physically, but emotionally. She stopped waiting for things to get better. She chose self-respect over silence. Part 7. A family on camera as Season 19 of Sister Wives unfolds. Fans are seeing the unvarnished truth. The facades are gone, the interviews are raw. The storyline is no longer about who's favored, who's leaving, or who said what. It's about grief. It's episode 26, airing May 25th, 2025's unlike anything fans have ever seen. The episode begins at the Flagstaff Humane Society where Garrison volunteered. A plaque in his honor is unveiled. His sisters cry. His mother thanks the volunteers. A dog he once cared for licks Janelle's hand and whimpers. It's the kind of moment no script could write. Later, the family heads to Wyoming. We see the burial, the dirt, the tears, Kody digging. Christine embracing Janelle. Meri holding Aurora's hand. The silence speaks louder than any confession. This isn't a reality show anymore. It's a memorial. It's a memorial. The Brown family has known heartache, but nothing could have prepared them more the world for the devastating loss of Robert Garrison Brown. His passing in March 2024 shattered not only his loved ones, but the foundation of a family already straining under years of emotional fractures. Janelle Brown, his mother, stepped into unimaginable grief with the grace of a woman who had no choice but to carry on. Her pain was raw, visible, and courageously honest. In the weeks following Garrison's death, she took to social media not as a celebrity, but as a grieving mother, letting the world glimpse the weight she now bore. Coming out of the fog, she wrote, "It's been hard to get my brain to work properly again. I am so grateful for the outpouring of love and support I've received these last 3 weeks. The support has been overwhelming. I am honored. That grief didn't fade." On what would have been Garrison's 26th birthday in April 2024, Janelle posted a tribute that brought fans and strangers alike to tears. "Happy heavenly birthday. Happy birthday, sweetheart. We miss you so much today. It's impossible to believe you are not here anymore. Spoke about you a lot today and even went for dinner to Texas Roadhouse. I still feel you around sometimes, and I am thankful that we will reunite with one another when my time is done." Mother's Day in May 2024 brought another wave of sorrow. She shared how baking Garrison's favorite dessert, a strawberry rhubarb, Pitragord memories too powerful to hold back. Perhaps no one cherished it more than Garrison, she reflected. That made this pie bittersweet.